Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
And by Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. Their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.
Welcome to our show, number 1066, during which we'll get some good advice about spotting scopes for someone on your gift list, or maybe for yourself. We'll listen to an audio postcard from a beautiful and birdie place in southwest Florida, and Mike O'Connor will offer his thoughts about why ducks are dating before the season for mating. That's on today's installment of Let's Ask Mike Live. And now here's that audio postcard.
Good morning, Ray and Talking Birds listeners. Come join me on the Indigo Trail at the Ding-Darling National Wildlife Refuge. You can hear tricolored heron in the background. Look overhead, you'll see bald eagle, turkey vulture, roseate spoonbill, white ibis, anhinga, great egret, fish crow. And despite today's beautiful weather, there was a magnificent frigate bird over Sanibel Island earlier this morning. So far, the mangrove cuckoo has eluded me on this trip, but there's still the rest of today and a few hours tomorrow morning before we head home. Oh, there goes white-eyed vireo. Ambassador Jim Randolph signing off. Oh, and don't forget, Ray is trying to get the number of ambassadors up to 1,000 by the end of the year. Come join the royalty.
Yes, indeed, the royalty. That's what we call our Talking Birds Ambassadors family. And thank you, Jim, doing double duty there with that beautiful audio postcard and the reminder about our mission to reach a new Ambassadors family milestone by year's end. And now, Mystery Bird Contest Preview. If you're new to the show, we can let you know we do a Mystery Bird Contest every week and give away some pretty nifty prizes. We play the sound of the bird as you're hearing there and give some clues like this. Our mystery bird is one of the world's most colorful small raptors. The male has blue-gray wings with black spots. The tail is rust-colored on the back with a broad black band and a white or rust-colored tip. Female's wings are rust-colored, barred with black. Both the male and female have mustaches. Our bird is common throughout much of North America, from Alaska to Tierra del Fuego, and in towns as well as out in the countryside. Our bird hunts mostly during daylight, often scanning for prey from the same perch for several hours, then pouncing on its prey, seizing it with one or both feet. Prey items include insects and other invertebrates, as well as small rodents and birds. That would be our mystery bird clue complex. And the prizes include the Brome Squirrel Solution 150 feeder. Nice time of year to get a new feeder, especially one that is squirrel-proof, as this Brome feeder is, genuinely squirrel-proof and chew-proof, and easy to clean, and even has a vented seed tray that helps keep the seed fresh and dry. We also have a one-year subscription to the great birding magazine, BWD, back and bigger than ever, founded back in 1978. Now in a large format with big, gorgeous photos and illustrations and in-depth articles by a lot of great writers and experts like Julie Zickafus, for example. That's our Mystery Bird preview contest a little bit later. And we're most fortunate to be able to welcome another Talking Birds ambassador to our ambassadors family, folks helping us spread the word about the show and about birds and conservation. And by the way, we're quite excited about a bunch of new sign-ups, Talking Birds ambassador sign-ups just this weekend, giving us hope that we might actually be able to reach our 1,000 member goal by year's end. And thanks today to Dave Lund from Scotts Valley, California. Dave says, I work maintenance at a camp in the Santa Cruz Mountains and see birds on a regular basis and wanted to find out what birds they were. And that's part of how I discovered Talkin' Birds. It's so cool to feel part of a community that loves learning and caring about birds. It's amazing that birding can happen anywhere, even while picking up trash at camp. End quote. Well, Dave's doing kind of a flirting variation there. Flirting is what we call picking up litter while birding. Dave is birding while picking up litter. Well, thank you, Dave, for doing both. So yes, we're close to the end of the year and close to our Ambassadors Family recruitment deadline, in which we're hoping to welcome our 1,000th member by the end of December. We've had some wonderful response to this outreach, and we need now fewer than 30 new ambassadors to sign up and help us continue our mission to spread the good word about birds and conservation. So Talkin' Birds listeners, will you help us reach that goal right now if you can? To do it, just go to talkinbirds.com, click on the Get Involved tab at the top of the homepage. When you sign up, we'll send you a small batch of our little Talkin' Birds cards, which you can hand out at your convenience and your leisure to anyone you think might enjoy listening to our show and its message. And that's at the Get Involved tab at talkinbirds.com. Well, coming up next, it's today's featured feathered friend, presented by the bigger and better BWD magazine, with each large format issue packed with beautiful photographs, illustrations, and in-depth articles ranging from backyard birds to birding abroad. Experience birds up close with BWD at bwdmagazine.com. Do you find the brown-headed cowbird to be a little dull? Well, here's one of its relatives to brighten things up. It's today's featured feathered friend, the shiny cowbird. The male shiny cowbird sports silky deep purple plumage and a robin-sized chunky physique. The females look much like their brown-headed cousins, but with a longer, more pointed bill. The shiny cowbird is a South American native, but it expanded its range into the Caribbean in the 20th century and reached southern Florida in the mid-'80s. In other parts of the southeastern U.S., the species is rare, but slowly increasing. The shiny cowbird's diet consists mainly of insects and other arthropods, and seeds for which it forages on the ground, often in small flocks. It's found in various habitats, including mangrove forests, scrubby fields, and in urban and suburban parks and gardens. The Cornell Lab's All About Birds describes the shiny cowbird as being one of a handful of species that has benefited from deforestation in its range. Like its brown-headed and bronzed cowbird cousins, the shiny cowbird is what's known as an obligate brood parasite, meaning that it lays its eggs in the nests of other species, and only there, never building a nest or raising its own young. Not surprisingly, a group of cowbirds is known collectively as a corral, or a herd of cowbirds. Molothrus bonariensis, today's featured feathered friend, the shiny cowbird. Welcome again to our show number 1066. Donald Ditzenberger is the U.S. Birding and Observation Account Manager for Vortex Optics. We call on him for optics advice, especially about now, when folks might be hoping to enhance someone's bird viewing options by way of a holiday gift. He joins us now with that advice. Good morning, Donald.
Good morning. Thanks for having me back.
Great to have you. And so let's say you have a spouse or a partner or a friend, Donald, who watches birds with binoculars, but maybe doesn't have a scope and would like to have one. So is a spotting scope a good holiday gift for such a person? And if so, what's the first step in figuring out a purchase?
Absolutely. Well, one of the number one questions that we always get about spotting scopes is, I already have a good pair of binoculars, right? Mm-hmm. It's 8 times magnification or 10 times magnification. That's already so strong, already so much stronger than my naked eye. Why could I need something more than that? Okay. Well, just to put it in perspective, a full-size spotting scope is typically going to be 20 to 60 times magnification. Mm-hmm. And it's 20 to 60. So it's a variable magnification that already gives you a little bit of extra oomph, a little bit of extra versatility that binoculars don't give you. And at that max magnification, at 60 times magnification, that is 6 times more powerful than a 10 by 42. So they truly open up a whole new world to you. They open up a whole new realm of possibilities of what you can be looking at, the experiences that you can have with your optics, whether it be shorebirds or eagle nests, or even if you are just a backyard birder and you've got your bird feeder set up right outside the kitchen window, you can just set up a spotting scope and aim it right at that bird feeder and get the closest, most beautiful image possible of whatever you can get out there.
Magnification is a big factor, so to speak.
But the downside, yes, you stole the words right out of my mouth. The downside to having such a large full-size spotting scope is that they're huge. They're a giant piece of equipment. And take into account that you're going to need to mount it on a tripod. The entire setup is going to be about 9 to 12 pounds. That's not something that you're just tossing in your luggage and taking on a plane with you. That's not something that you're putting in your backpack and you're walking down the trail with. So we do have another option with spotting scopes too. These nice little compact travel size scopes. They typically run about 2-3 pounds, maybe much, much smaller than a full size scope. But because everything is a give and take, they're obviously not going to be perfect for everybody, right? So a smaller scope, my favorite one is actually the Razor. I'm biased, so I'm going to go with Vortex, obviously. My favorite one is our Razor 13 to 39 by 56. So it's 13 to 39 times magnification, much less than a 20 to 60. But at that max magnification of 39, just to put it in perspective, you're still getting about 4 times more magnification than a 10 by 42. So you are still opening up a whole new world to yourself, but in a much smaller, much more maneuverable package.
All right. Let me ask you kind of a general question about prices. We often hear it's best to buy the best you can afford because then you'll keep the scope for a really long time, maybe never have to buy another one. But is that always the case if you're buying it for someone who's maybe a novice birder, let's say?
Right. Well, the saying, buy once, cry once. You can get some really decent spotting scopes, full-size spotting scopes for about $500. That's usually the starting point that I say. And that's for a full giant spotting scope. The entry cost for scopes is a little bit higher than binoculars simply because of that extra magnification. At higher magnifications, glass quality becomes much, much more important. But if you're looking for a good starter spotting scope that isn't going to break the bank, it's going to be a great first-time gift, you don't necessarily need to go with the full scope. Get a smaller one. We have a great option. It's called the Crossfire spotting scope. It's a 12 to 36, so still nice long magnification, and it retails for about $300. And that's a great beginner scope. But you also need to take into account that you need a tripod with the scope as well. There's absolutely no realm of possibility of being able to handhold the scope and use it effectively. So having a decent tripod is always going to help. You can get a good tripod for between $100 and $200. A lot of people say you need to buy a carbon fiber tripod or it's not worth it. I say that's complete malarkey. You don't need a carbon fiber tripod. A decent aluminum tripod will get the job done just as well.
All right. So there are straight spotting scopes and angled scopes in which the eyepiece is at about, I think, a 45-degree angle to the barrel of the scope. And I think the angle design has a lot of advantages, but are there some trade-offs there too? I think there are.
So it feels much more natural to use a straight scope because you're using it basically like a monocular or a pair of binoculars. You're looking straight through it. It's easy to aim. The downside to a straight scope, though, is that it's much more difficult to use with a group of people of varying heights. If you have a single straight scope, then the tallest people in your group are going to have to hunch down to be able to use it. Whereas with an angled scope, all they need to do is lean their head over a little bit. So I always recommend getting an angled scope. The only downside to angled scopes is that they take a little bit more practice to be able to use effectively, because you need to train your mind that while you are looking down, you're actually looking straight out, which can be a little bit tricky to do. But just like anything else, if you spend some time practicing, it's going to become second nature after a short period of time.
How about car birding? Would that be advantageous to have the straight scope for that?
Yes, that would be the only time that I will ever recommend a straight scope is when you are birding from the car. So there's this really cool newer concept. It's called the car window mount. You basically cinch your or clench this piece of equipment onto your car window. You roll it down about halfway, and then you can put your scope on top like any other tripod head, and then you can just bird from your car. And I will say it's very difficult to do that with an angled scope. But that's somewhat of a niche purpose. Yeah. I wouldn't say that's going to be, you might do that 5% of the time versus the 95% of the time that you're doing normal birding. So I think an angled scope is still overall a better option.
All right. One more question then, for those who already have a scope or will be getting one, can you offer some general cleaning advice? Because there seem to be different schools of thought about that.
Yeah. So the number one cleaning tool is always going to be a microfiber cleaning cloth. Please never use your shirt. I think I said it before last time on your podcast. Never use your cotton shirt to clean your optics. Always keep a microfiber cleaning cloth handy. Daily maintenance is going to be the number one important thing to do. A lot of people like to use alcohol-based solutions. I personally don't. I think just water. All of our optics and most optics now are fully waterproof. You can dunk it in water if you really need to. Water and some elbow grease are the two most important things. You just really need to scrub out those water spots. If you have access to compressed air, for like laptops or other electronics, that's a great way to clean out the eyepiece. Because gunk tends to get stuck up in the eyepiece, whether it be, sand or mud or dirt. Just make sure you use a microfiber cleaning cloth and just some compressed air and keep up with the daily maintenance. That's the best way to make sure that wear and tear doesn't take down your optics.
All right. Donald Ditzenberger is the U.S. Birding and Observation Account Manager for Vortex Optics and our go-to person for all things in the scope and binocular realm. Thanks for the advice, Donald, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Ray. Have a great holiday.
Donald Ditzenberger here on Talking Birds. And up next, our Mystery Bird Contest in just 1 minute. The flutter of a tail feather, the flash of a wing bar in mid-flight. You don't always have a lot of time to identify a bird in nature, let alone to appreciate its beauty. But with Vortex Optics, you'll have the power to bring every wild moment closer. When you choose Vortex, you're choosing to have a partner in the field as passionate about nature as you are. Whether you're spotting old friends on the backyard feeder or packing for a once-in-a-lifetime trip to add a few species to your life list, Vortex offers a full range of optics and optics accessories for every birder and every budget. And whether the birds are taking you to another state or another country, you're always covered by the Vortex VIP warranty, an unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. If you'd like to learn more, or if you need help choosing your next optic, give Vortex a call at 1-800-4VORTEX or visit vortexoptics.com. That's our mystery bird. Does it sound familiar? Do you know what it is? Do you think you might know what it is? In any case, give us a call of any of those scenarios and let us know. Give us your guess or tell us your answer and win some beautiful prizes here, including the Brome Squirrel Solution 150 feeder, genuinely squirrel-proof. Plus a 1-year subscription to the great birding magazine, BWD, Birdwatching Daily Magazine. Birdwatchers Digest, BWD, founded in 1978 as Birdwatchers Digest, now back and bigger than ever. Our mystery bird is one of the world's most colorful small raptors. The male has blue-gray wings with black spots. The tail is rust-colored on the back with a broad black band and a white or rust-colored tip. The female's wings are rust-colored, barred with black. Both male and female have mustaches. Our bird hunts mostly by daylight, pouncing on insects, other invertebrates, small rodents, and birds. Some of the description and stuff about our mystery bird, and just give us a call to complete the process here. Call us as soon as you can at this number, 781-837-4900. Ahead in just a moment, we'll check in with Mike O'Connor. But first, this very special message from our friends at Birds and Beans Coffee. Let's ask Mike live in just 1 minute. Birds and Beans announces the holiday gift box, the perfect gift for your coffee-loving friends. 12 12-ounce bags of great-tasting Birds and Beans coffee. 2 bags each of Wood Thrush Breakfast Roast, American Red Start Light Roast, Scarlet Tanager French Roast, Chestnut-Sided Warbler Medium Roast, Baltimore Oriole French Roast Decaf, and the newest roast, Kingbird Espresso. Ground and ready to brew, or whole bean if you like, all for $150, a savings of more than 30%. Shipping still just $10.50 any volume anywhere in the U.S. The offer ends soon, so order now at birdsandbeanscoffee.com. Treat your friends and family to delicious Birds and Beans shade-grown coffee and help save birds in their wintering habitat in the process. Don't wait. Order the holiday gift box. 12 12-ounce bags of delicious Birds and Beans shade-grown certified organic fair trade coffee. Now at birdsandbeanscoffee.com. That's birdsandbeanscoffee.com. All right, well, calling today's Let's Ask Mike episode, Duck Dalliances, or if you've got it, flaunt it. Mike will explain all of this here. Good morning, Mike.
What was that first one?
Duck Dalliances. I don't even know what that is. Well, that's this is the time of year when, well, I guess now ducks are flying again, but there was that time period when they couldn't fly after molting. So instead of flying, they're now onto flights of fancy where they're engaging in romance, pre-mating romance. That's what I was going for there.
Oh, that's
and the other part about the flaunting it, well, that kind of is as you would describe. They've got their full plumage now.
Well, you're right. You're right. And I had some customers asking me why the ducks are acting kind of weird now, especially like in the flocks. They're going through some kind of weird behavior, and it's like what you said. This, for a lot of ducks, this is not mating season. This is not when they have families, but this is when they select a mate, or they choose a mate. Ducks tend to have a new mate every year. Some of the larger waterfowl, geese and swans, will perhaps use the same mate year after. Use, that's the wrong word, but be with the same mate year after year. But ducks usually pick a new one, and so this is the time for many of them, especially the dabblers, when they start selecting a mate. The reason why they do it in the fall, we're used to the songbirds who look their best in the spring, and then they choose a mate. Most of the ducks look their best in the fall. They just, like you said, just finished molting, and now they look shiny and new, so that the males start strutting their stuff, and the females start choosing them. You know, why they do it in the fall as opposed to the spring? Well, they do it, one, because they look better, two, because if you pick a mate now, you get the best choice. You know, the females who see these males all strutting, they pick a mate, they pick the best one, at least in their mind. It's like going to a donut shop. If you get there late, you get the plain donuts.
The Staleys from yesterday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So the females pick a mate now, and then if they have a mate, it's two ducks. And when they get to a food source, a mated pair has more of a chance of pushing their way towards the better food, especially the dabblers can get the better food than just a single duck. So there's a lot of sense of doing it now. And what's interesting is I think we all know the mating rituals. I think we've seen on TV of the western grebes, which they run across the water, and there's some reason, no matter when you look at it, there's music playing in the background and all those things.
Good timing on that way they do that. That's amazing.
It's good. Yeah. Well, the ducks aren't that elaborate. They're not. It's they kind of have these sometimes they bow, sometimes their beak twitches a little bit. It's kind of like a bad dancer. It's like Elaine on Seinfeld. It just really doesn't make any sense. But they have these kind of, not all that crazy of a mating ritual. But my favorite one, you can see these online, the common golden eyes, which they take the head and they lurch it back really fast. It looks unbelievably painful. My neck hurts every time I watch it. But they snap their head all the way back to their tail, back to their DA, and they snap it back, and then they bring it forward again and snap it back again. That's worth looking up, because that's, if that doesn't get you a date, nothing will.
Yeah.
So, but if you have a bad neck, don't want.
I was going to say it sounds a little painful there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it says all the songbirds have gone south. If you go to a pond, start looking at the ducks that have come down from the north, and it'd be kind of fun to check out.
All right, this has been Duck Dalliances, or if you've got it, flaunt it. Thank you, Mike.
Talk to you later.
All right, Mike O'Connor at the famous Birdwatchers General Store, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and we return, meanwhile, to the Mystery Bird Contest, trying to identify this bird, one of the world's most colorful small raptors. What is that bird? And the number is 781-837-4900, and we have Tara in the Dairy State, the great state of Wisconsin. Hello, Tara.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome. Hello, Tara. What part of Wisconsin, if you care to say?
We're by Neshkoro, central Wisconsin.
Central, what did you say a town there? I didn't catch that.
Neshkoro, it's a small little town.
Oh, Neshkoro, middle of Wisconsin. All right, we'll look it up after the show. But meanwhile, we're at the Mystery Bird Contest, and you heard the clues and all that. So what do you think, Tara? Oh.
I'm guessing an American kestrel.
Or your own sound effects. You couldn't possibly be wrong with that. Wow. Yes. The American kestrel. Nice job. Yeah, let's hear that. Let's hear that again. Oh, I think we.
Oh, that was my son, Sebastian.
Oh, I see. You've employed him. Well, he's doing a fine job there. I just reading. The American kestrel, we think of hover hunting. It's kind of famous for that, but Cornell Lab says they don't really do that all that much. We just think they do, usually using perches, or they do the hovering, I guess, when the updrafts are really favorable to that. There we go. All right. We'll be waiting for the album. Tara, thank you so much. And stay on the line. We'll get your info and send you those beautiful prizes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. That's Tara in Wisconsin, somewhere in the central part of the state there, correctly identifying the American kestrel as our mystery bird. We have just a little bit of time, and I want to see if we can squeeze these two things in, because this is bird conservation good news from Tennessee, where the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, partnering with the state and U.S. Fish and Wildlife, is introducing a plan to reintroduce the red-cockaded woodpecker. That's a bird that disappeared from Tennessee about 30 years ago because of fire suppression and logging of old-growth pines and habitat fragmentation. But they're working on it and apparently having some success already. So the red-cockaded woodpecker on the comeback trail in Tennessee. And thanks to Kimberly Mutu, who alerted us to this story all the way from California. Thank you, Kimberly. We don't have time for that second story I was going to mention, but we'll get it next week. Thanks to our Titanic Talking Birds team, Debbie Bleacher, Frey McGregor, and our producing engineer, Jesse Wilkins. I'm Ray Brown, reminding you again that you can enter next week's Mystery Bird Contest no matter where you are if you listen live. And that's easy to do via the Listen tab at talkingbirds.com. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.
The bird show, I like that.
Ray Brown's Talking Birds.
Made possible by the generous support of the Birdwatchers General Store, Orleans, Cape Cod. Birdwatchersgeneralstore.com.
And by Vortex Optics with the VIP warranty. their unlimited lifetime promise to keep you and your optic covered. Learn more at vortexoptics.com.